we're live. Thank you. Hi again, everyone, and good afternoon, talents. My name is Gergana, and I'm event manager at Code Control and 9 a.m. And today I'll be hosting this webinar, Growing a Freelance Business That You Love. It's my pleasure to welcome you, and I would like to thank you all for joining us on 9 a.m.'s first webinar, part of the Freelance Academy series. 9 a.m. is a platform for freelancers where we are aiming to make your lives easier. You can find exciting projects, manage all your project requests in one place, and keep your profile up to date easily. On top of that, we are building a community where you can connect with other freelancers and learn through guides and events such as this webinar. If you want to learn more, you can check out 9am.works. I hope you all have had a great day so far, remotely or at the office, and now you're laid back and relaxed. In the next approximately 1 hour, you're about to hear growing business tips and tricks from our speaker, who is also a well-known coaching expert. In the last 2 years, all of us have been in a constant process, learning and transformation, and some may have started to wonder for the first time what it really takes to grow and build a business that feels good. Maybe you're just starting out as a freelancer, or you've already been successful for a while, or even for years. No matter where you stand now, all of you can benefit from this webinar. To grow business that you really love is a complex phenomenon. It raises many questions, and I hope that we will be able to answer some of them today. That's why I would like to remind you that you can ask your questions in the chat anytime, and our speaker will answer them at the end of her presentation. Now, I'm glad to hand you over to our speaker, Kirsty Waite. She's also founder and owner of Kirsty Waite Business Coaching.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm really privileged to be the first one of the 9 a.m. webinar series, so I'm really happy to be here. Am I okay to start sharing my screen so I can? Yeah. So I'm Kirsty, as I've already introduced, and I'm the founder of Kirsty Waite Business Coaching. And my business was born from my passion, from my calling. Like, this was what I was meant to do. And I am so passionate about being happy in the world, and that starts with the business owners, and that starts with us. Okay, and that is what I am here to do within my business, is help you create amazing businesses where you can thrive, profitable businesses that you can create freedom in whatever sense that means to you. So how did I get here, and where did I come from? So going back many, many moons, I was brought up as part of a family business. So understanding business to me is purely in my DNA. Like, I was brought up around businesses. I just understood how a business ran. I really enjoyed it. So when I come to leaving school, that's all I wanted to do.
Recording in progress.
I wanted to get into that. I wanted to be around businesses. And
recording stop.
I wanted to get out of the world and make a difference. Okay, so that led me then going into corporate. So I used to corporate, walked the corporate ladder, climb the stereotypical, and it just wasn't really for me, but I thoroughly enjoyed that time, and it allowed me to get to know people, get to know environments, what it was like, and what it was like in big organizations, huge ones that I hadn't been exposed to at that point. And what I did think when I was in that time is, if the smaller organizations, such as the freelancers, the small family businesses, had exposure to the processes, the awareness, the mindset, decision making that those billion-dollar organizations had, it would just change the landscape for them so much, and it would just open opportunities. And I always knew that I wanted to start my own business. I always knew that corporate was never the last solution for me, for my career. Whilst I did really well, and other people from the outside might have thought that it looked like that I was absolutely successful, it was somebody else's version of success. So the passion for my business was born when I wanted to help those struggling small business owners create a business that they loved with processes and strong foundations so they could create a sustainable long-term business. And absolutely, I spent a lot of my time in corporate walking somebody else's path to success. So once I'd found and I was coaching within that corporate environment anyway, but when I found that passion of what aligned everything, it was just like no going back. Like, this was what I was born to do and need to do it. And like I say, I truly believe that business owners, to change the working world, creating happier, kinder business owners is a place where we can all thrive. So that's what I want to do. That's what I want to create. And creating a business that makes us tick and makes us happy is just a completely different mindset. It's just, it creates this overwhelming feeling that everything's possible. Like, it opens our mind to what can be created. And building a business around you and what sets your soul on fire and how you want to feel, it all goes towards creating this recipe and balance needed to thrive. So when I talk about thriving in business, it isn't just about growing your business in looking at bringing clients in, bringing money in, bringing sales in. It's a balance. And I think I am a really visual person, and I always talk about, if you think of a spinning top, do you know the little spinning tops and the little segments on the top? Those segments all make up the balance. So when that spinning top's not aligned and not balanced, you feel out of kilter. And on that spinning top, you might have money, freedom, joy, and it all comes in, and it's a balance of these things that allow you to thrive. So building a business around that is what creating a business that feels good is all about. And I'm going to share with you my journey to that. And I also want to just say, it hasn't always been this way. I haven't always felt so aligned and energized about my business. I understand what it feels when you feel drained. I understand when you're not getting where you want to be. I understand what it feels like and how draining and rubbish that can be. Okay. And when I really did the work to create a business and dig the way that I really wanted, and got really intentional and clear and focused on creating that business, I kind of pulled together the strings of things that all worked for me. So within businesses, my passion, and then what to do and how I could create this for my clients. And that feels good, and that feels magical. And I'm going to say this sentence, and I'm going to say it probably a couple of times throughout this session, is you are the creator of your reality. I'm the creator of mine. You're the creator of yours. And if we don't create our business intentionally, we'll settle for the default, right? And the default is where unfulfillment comes from. Default is where we don't get joy. Default is getting clients that don't align with our values, and it doesn't feel good. Then we get stuck in the pattern of thinking we have to stay there. We can't get rid of this. This is the business we've created. We've got to sit here. Okay? So remember, you are the creator of your reality. You can create your business. So let me share with you 3 things that I see business owners making. And it's things that you might be making now. It's mistakes that I've made in my career, my business. And I want to share these with you, because once awareness is the first step, and if you identify with any of these 3 mistakes, you can take steps to try and change that and to create a different kind of business, right? Because we want to give you that business that gives you all those feelings and that feels good and it's profitable. Okay, so once we address these problems, you're free then to create a business that feels good. So mistake number 1 that I see quite a lot of people making, and majority of my clients are freelancers and service-based business owners. So these will be people that you can relate with. So number 1 is waiting to be more established before you start planning or creating a long-term strategy for your business. Okay, not treating your business like the long-term option. So not planning, what I mean by this is you don't think long term, you don't do the strategy, you kind of see how long you can survive for, you count how much money you've got to see how many months you've got left. You're living hand to mouth in your business sense. You're doing day to day. There's no structure. There's no long-term vision. There's no plan to get there. You might be bouncing from one task to the other. You're kind of on the hamster wheel of just taking clients on and doing it, taking clients on and doing it. And you think, well, when I'm a bit more established, I'll start planning. I'll start putting structures in place. I'll start putting processes in the business when I'm a bit more established. And then you just stay on that hamster wheel of in that place, and you don't ever move forward. And then you get, because you just stay there, right? And as long as you don't plan, you're never going to move forward towards anything that you want. Unless you put measurable steps in place, you're going to struggle to get to where you are if you don't articulate that. So this mistake shows up in business owners who started their business as a side hustle, as a freelance gig, around the kids, maybe as a passion project. They struggle to see themselves as a real business owner. And they go from task to task, hoping and praying it works out, leaving the future of the business to chance. Sometimes when we create a business around our family life and our family or our kids, or it's been a side project, or you've just been doing a bit of freelancing here and there, to go from that mindset of that's what it is, to actually this is a full-time business, like this is my business and I need to plan for that. We can very easily get stuck in this mindset if we're not careful. And it's got to be an intentional decision to move away from that, to create space, to create goals, to create strategy, to create processes that all build the foundation of creating a business. And I totally get why people do get here, okay? Because when the business is born from convenience or passion and it just naturally develops, it's easy to get stuck there. And we're just happy to be working on something that works for us rather than having to go to the 9 to 5 or the corporate job. You're just happy that it works and it gives you the flexibility. So we just kind of get stuck there, okay? Believing that you'll need to be a more established business owner before you can start planning for the long term. Okay. And thinking when you're in this place, it's difficult to create that time, and thinking that you don't have the time to create this structure, you come up a lot with, I'll do it when I'm more established. I'll do it when I get this revenue in. I'll do it when I've had so many clients. I'll do it when, and that's, how many times have you heard that? How many times have you heard yourself say that? Because I've heard myself say it. And now I'm really, really aware that when never comes, right? And it's like, do it now, do it today. This will make your life and business feel so much better when you have that control over it and that organization. And this belief feels the best option to us right now because it's familiar and you think it's safe. And there's a huge cost to thinking and having this mindset, right? And that cost is, if we don't intentionally plan for the business we want to create, we get the default business. Okay? Are you okay with leaving your business to chance? Are you okay with being in the same position in 12 months' time? Okay? And if you're sat thinking, oh, that feels like me, unless you do something about it, you will stay in that lack and fear and continues to worry and feel stressed about the future, because you might just have to, you can't plan what's coming through the door. You can't plan what projects you're going to be on because you're constantly living on the hamster wheel of next client, next client, next client, rather than taking a step back and creating some strategy or structure or goals around that. Okay? And what that could potentially lead to is feeling that you're never reaching your potential. You might end up with burnout. It just doesn't feel good. Okay? But when you stop leaving your business to chance, you get to make the choice. You get to create that. You get to carve out the plan for a business that works for you. You get to create the future that you want. You get to stop worrying about what the future holds for your business. You get to stop stressing about where the money's coming from, where the client's coming from, because you get to create that. You don't sit in reactional mode. You're doing something about it. You're creating a plan. You're moving forward. Okay. If that resonates with you and you feel like you've either been there or you are there, please let us know. If you've got any questions, put them in the chat and we'll definitely pick them up at the end. But you don't have to stay there, right? And forgive yourself if you are there, it's okay. You don't need to beat yourself up, but awareness is the first key. Then the second is doing something about it. So that's mistake number 1. So mistake number 2 that I see is playing to survive rather than playing to win. Okay. If you convince yourself that if you play to survive, you will survive, you can hold on to what you've got. And you prepare, all that's doing is preparing to lose. And then you won't be surprised when anything around you fails. If you need to go and get another job, if this freelance business that's operating around your family doesn't last forever, well, you already knew that because you were playing to survive rather than to thrive. Okay, so you're not playing to win. And when you're not playing to win, you're sitting in you're contracting, you're sitting in lack, you're fearful of what's coming in case the clients dry up, in case the money dries up. You don't take any risks, you don't invest in your business, you don't invest in your personal development, you daren't dream big because you just want to survive. You're happy to keep this business going and you focus on what you don't have versus what you could have and could achieve, but you sit in that lack and fear if you're playing to survive rather than thrive. And this mistake can show up in different ways. So we might not even realize that we're doing this, but constantly monitoring how long you can survive for before you have to go and get a job. So for example, I've got X number of clients, I've got X amount of money, I can last however many months, I'm okay. You're sitting in the fear of failing. You're kind of half preparing yourself to fail. You're focusing on what you don't have. You're playing it so safe that you're suffocating your business. We may not, like I say, we may not even realize we're doing this. This is kind of like a deep-seated mindset that can be so sophisticated and hidden that we don't even realize we're doing it, right? And we're constantly focusing on what we don't have and what's depleting, rather than the possibilities and opportunities that we could be creating. Which, ironically, opportunities and possibilities is what helps us grow our business and reduces those worries of clients and money. But by taking no risks in your business is absolutely the biggest risk of all. Okay, you have to risk failing in order to succeed. Otherwise, all you're going to be doing is staying stuck and staying in a place that doesn't feel good, but you feel safe there. But we're never going to grow. This mistake has the ability to operate in stealth mode. And I do know, trust me. When we give ourselves restricted boundaries to build businesses, that's where we focus. Restrictions, limitations, okay? And believing playing it safe will allow you to play and stay in the game for longer. That's what you believe. And that's what your mindset has you thinking is right, okay? The huge problem with thinking that is taking no risks is the biggest risk. You're too focused on lack, you miss the possibilities, you miss the opportunities that's within your grasp, okay? So taking no risk is the biggest risk. Playing to survive rather than win isn't going to work out. When you start focusing on what you don't have and start playing all in for your business and what you want and committing yourself to what it is you want to achieve, you open yourself up to possibilities. You're saying yes to more things. You're committing to the growth of yourself and your business, and you're committing to succeed. Whatever that looks like, as hard as that is, you're committing to it. Rather than dipping your toe in off the edge and going, oh, maybe, oh, no, I like it back up here. You're just going, I'm going to go for this. This is right for me. This feels good. Okay. So that was mistake number 2. So mistake number 3 that I see this all the time. At any stage of business, spending all your time in the weeds of your business, right? And this is this can come back around, and this mistake you can slip back into this mistake all the time without even realizing it. And this can happen, like I say, in the very early days of business. It can happen at any point. It doesn't matter how long you've been going, how successful you are, because this is when we're working on clearing the daily tasks every day before working on the growth of our business, right? And when we do that, our business comes to a standstill. And sometimes we feel like we need to do the daily stuff to keep the business going, to survive. So we repeat in the easy things. We passively doing our emails, posting on social media, not really being intentional about the jobs. We kind of working our way off the to-do list as quick as we can. We're doing lots of easy tasks rather than the hard priorities, okay? The ones that would make an impact but might feel a bit scary. So we don't drive our business forward. We sit in the weeds of the doing of our business. And that is not a great place to be, because the mistake that can take shape in the following ways: being busy in your business and never taking time to work on your business, okay? Prioritizing the easy, repetitive tasks above the ones that you think will make an impact, and thinking if you don't keep working in your business, it will come to a standstill. So thinking, if I don't clean my emails, my clients will think I'm not responding to them. If I don't do this job immediately before I really start planning for my business, then someone needs to do it, so I better do it. So you're constantly doing the reactive, in the weeds of your business every single day, okay? So that's how it shows up. And this is really overwhelming and really stifling and really suffocating within your business. And this is, like I say, a really easy mistake to get stuck into. And it's an easy mistake to yo-yo in and out of it. And in the early days of business, we are the only ones, because, it's our business, it's grown from us, and there is just us, and we do everything. So we're the show pony and the workhorse, right? And it's ingrained in us to do everything, because we can't afford maybe to invest in paying for someone else. We're going to have to do it because there's no one else to do it. If we don't do it, it doesn't get done. But if there's a cost to that. So believing, if I just work harder, it'll become easier. I don't have time to come up for air. If I get my head down and work harder, this will work out. And unfortunately, that doesn't work, because nobody is steering your business in the right way. Okay? So the problem with sitting in the deep, dark depths is very costly. You might be heading for an iceberg. And I always use analogies. So the analogy here is, you are the captain of your ship. Who is directing that ship if you below the deck washing the floors? Because by being in the weeds of your business, you are below deck, right? Who is steering your ship? Who is stopping your business hitting an iceberg? Because if you're not doing it, who is? And yes, sometimes when there is just us, and we haven't got to the stage where we've got team members, or we can't afford to invest to outsource, we do have to juggle, we do have to balance, but we have to make sure that we are intentionally creating time for both things. Because if we don't, then it'll not happen and we'll hit the iceberg. If you spend your time just in the business, you're never going to see where you're going. Okay? So when you take back control of your ship, you get to decide on the direction that you take in your business. You can see the iceberg before you hit it. You can see problems coming before they land on your doorstep. You can plan for growth. You can plan in a way that feels good. You can do something about it. And you can move from the power of one to the power of many, or outsourcing, much easier, because you have control of the ship. You know what needs to be done. You know who needs to take what role to move the business forward. Rather than sitting in the weeds, constantly firefighting the day-to-day easy tasks, you need to take yourself out of that, get on the top deck, and direct your ship. Okay? So they are the three most common mistakes I see service-based businesses and freelancers make. Okay? Do let me know if any of these land with you. Let me know if you've experienced these mistakes. How did you get out of it? Or if you're still there, awareness is the hardest step to admit to yourself that you're there. but awareness is the first step, and then you can do something about it. Okay, so do let us know your thoughts. Let's share any insights that you've got during those 3 mistakes that I've just shared there. So now that we've learned the mistakes that I've seen, what can we do about them? Okay, so like what does this mean? So I help people like you bypass spending time repeatedly making those mistakes. Okay, and I do that by the 3 core pillars of my business. So let me share those with you. So my business is built on purpose, mindset, and strategy. And these 3 core pillars that I truly believe it'll give you a thriving business. And creating a business that creating a business that lasts a long haul starts with one person, and that's you. Creating a business with foundations, with your spice in the mix, is what's going to feel good to you. Building something around everything that brings you joy and fulfillment is going to feel good to you. Okay? Are you getting the picture? This is all around you. And regardless of how I work with people, whether it's one-to-one, in a group, in a mastermind, these core pillars are sprinkled through everything that I do. And I'm going to unpack each one of them for you so you can understand. So these were born through identifying key steps that I went through to create my aligned business that makes me feel good. I get up and I get to do things that genuinely give me energy every single day. But like I say, it wasn't always like that. So when it started to feel good, I spent a long time going through this process. I invested heavily in self and personal development. I invested heavily in my business to work with coaches, mentors, and I just took a step back and thought, it just works now. It feels amazing. What did I do? And how did I do it? And this is why I want to share it, because they're not hard. It's those things of they're simple but not easy, because hard, when we need to change things and develop ourselves, it takes a lot of reflection and it takes a lot of hard inner work to do. And not everyone's willing to do that, and not everyone's ready to do that. So let me share with you the purpose. So this is the first pillar of my business. And the purpose principle involves doing deep work to get clarity on what you want your business to look and feel like. Okay, so this is around getting crystal clear on your vision, the beacon of light that's going to guide you. Because if we don't know where we're going, we have no focus. So we get stuck, we don't move forward, right? So by getting super clear on that, that's the starting point. And this is all about yourself, digging deep to yourself. And the best side effects to implementing the purpose principle, so by doing that inner work, you feel a renewed energy and focus on what you're doing. You feel comfortable showing up as the real you because there's nobody else. You've dropped the mask. You know what feels right. You know what you want to achieve. You know what means something to you. And when we talk about the purpose of why you're showing up, these are really intrinsic core values we're talking about here. We're talking about the things that give us energy, the things like identifying what doesn't give us energy and choosing to intentionally remove that from our business. And we can enjoy making decisions with clarity, because once we've got our vision, we've got our beacon of light, we know what we want, we know what we want to create, and we just need to take steps to get there. You know where you're heading and you know what you want to do. Because when things come up in our business and we are not sure whether it's right for us, or we kind of and ahhing about it, and you don't have that beacon of light, you can very easily end up off down different roads, off down roundabouts, and you never really come back to that one vision, that one beacon of light, because you don't know what it is. You haven't articulated that. So digging deep and figuring out what it is that you want to do. The purpose principle is crucial, because when it's missing, you lack the clarity, you lack the direction in your business. You feel stuck, you might feel frustrated, you might find yourself going around in circles. And this purpose, when we talk about the purpose principle, this may evolve over time. As you grow, your business grows. As your business grows, you grow, and it might impact one and the other. And understanding and recalibrating and realigning with what it is you're doing and why you're doing it will keep your business feeling good. Okay? Most people don't unlock this purpose principle because they think they have to do it that way. They have to do it this way. They have to do it that way for whatever reason, whether that's through experience, just through lack of knowledge. And when they feel stuck and it feels hard and it feels unfulfilled, they go back to feeling like the scattergun effect is going to work, hoping something will stick. And when it doesn't, they start to feel overwhelmed. They start to feel unfulfilled. They start to lose faith and confidence in themselves. So the purpose principle is the joy it brings when you unlock it is magical. Okay, so when we actively work on integrating that, you get to unlock that. You get to unlock that joy and clarity and fulfillment from your business because you are intentionally building your business with purpose. And no matter how far in your business journey you are, you can stop and take check. You can stop and recalibrate. You can stop and reassess. What is it? What's the purpose? What is it all for? So that's the core principle number 1. Core principle number 2 is mindset. So the mindset principle is arguably the most important and the most difficult, I believe. So this involves doing deep and continual, may I add, inner mind work, right? And there's a reason why you've chosen not to create that business, and doing the mindset work will reveal that for you. And yes, I wrote chosen not to create the business because whether it's conscious or unconscious, it's a choice, okay? Like I've said before, we are the creators of our reality. We can create the business we want. We just need to choose to. And sometimes it doesn't feel easy, but unless we dedicate it to the work, it's never going to feel any easier. So the best side effects of the mindset principle is the renewed affection and appreciation for yourself. You learn to love yourself. You learn to understand why you behave and act in certain ways. A sense of freedom from your inner visible and invisible blocks, right? You get to shine a big spotlight on the things that have always held you back. And you get to commit to the future of your business, because unless we are curious and aware and stay curious and do that work in our mindset, we're never going to build the grown, thriving business we want because something's stopping us. Otherwise, we would have done it already. Okay, your business would already be feeling amazing. It would already be thriving. There'd be no more development left to do. But being curious and working on your mindset is one of the number 1 things that we need to do to help grow our business. So the mindset principle is crucial because when it's missing, you're trapped with limiting beliefs. You're trapped with the inner talk. You're trapped with your inner saboteur. Okay, so you might have all the ideas and planning and studying, but no action because you daren't move forward. There's something limiting you. There's something stopping you. And when we're stuck here, one thing is, if you find yourself constantly studying and constantly learning and constantly attending programs and online information, but you never see the impact and reflect of that in your business, it's because you're not taking action. And the reason you're not taking action is there's something underlying that, and that'll be a mindset shift that's needed. Okay, so most people don't unlock the mindset principle because they don't realize they can. Sometimes you don't even realize you have a limiting belief, and trust me, like, this happens all the time for me and my clients, where you reveal something that you didn't even realize was holding you back. And as your business grows, you'll get different beliefs, that you'll come across different beliefs that you didn't even realize you had. And equally, you'll get new mindset issues and new limiting beliefs that you didn't realize you had. So you'll have heard the phrase like new level, new devil. As your business grows, so does your perspective and mindset need to open. And if you're not constantly constantly working on doing that, you will get to a point where you feel stuck. Okay. People just think that this is just how they are, and it's not something that they can really change. So you might, have you heard people go, "Oh, I'm a perfectionist," or I procrastinate all the time. That's just how I am. Oh, I'm just really stuck here, and that's okay. Like, they accept that that's okay because that's where they are. They think that's just how they am. They just seek out to be perfectionists. but there's something underneath that. You have a choice to explore that and see if you can change it. We are creating our identity for ourselves, and how we speak to ourselves creates that identity for ourselves. So if you're constantly telling yourself you're the queen of procrastination, you live into that. You are living into that being that you created. When we actively work on integrating your mindset principle, you get to unlock the confidence, the courageous business owner who is free to create anything they choose. That's when freedom really comes, because we're free to take action on what it is we really, really want. So when we talk about, if you think of the principles, we've got the purpose piece going, this is what I really want, this is what's really important to me. Then we've got the mindset one that's going, this is how you cultivate a mindset for success. This is how you implement those amazing things. Like, this is how you get out your own way. This is the stuff that's going to let you take action. Okay. Which leads us nicely onto the last one. And this last one brings all the principles together. And this is the strategy. So this is how you now make that your reality. So the strategy principle involves doing fundamental work on your business structure. So this is building strong foundations and processes. So this is dreaming of the business that gives you the freedom from start with your strategy and your foundations. So the best side effect of implementing the strategy principle is it gives you structure for freedom. Structure, I know it doesn't sound like it should, but structure and processes lead to freedom in your business. It allows you the ability to scale easier because you've already got the structure and processes and foundation in place. Enjoy knowing you have control to make it happen. It's not left to chance anymore. So we've had the purpose, we know what it is. We've had the mindset, we're working on allowing ourselves to go for it. And now we're doing the action, right? We're taking those steps, we're putting them in place, we can do something about it. The strategy principle is crucial because when it's missing, there's no action. You're not moving forward. You're stuck, you're overworked, trying to do it all head down, and you're not reaping the rewards, right? You're not physically taking the action. And most people don't unlock this strategy principle because they're waiting for their circumstances to change. Okay, so they're waiting for something before they start planning for the future. They're waiting for something. You know, when we were just talking about, I'll do that when, right? They tolerate the struggle, and that leads to resentment and frustration. It's not sustainable to not plan for the future. It's not sustainable to not take action and not move forward. We can't stay stuck in those weeds. We have to put action. We have to do a strategy. We need to know where we're heading, and we need to know how we're getting there. When we actively work on integrating our strategy principle, you get to unlock progress, you get to unlock growth, and you get to unlock the fruits of your labor. So out of everything that you've done, out of all the hard work, out of all the learning, all the development, all the research, this is the doing, this is the creating of it, right? You are now creating the dream that you want. You are now creating the reality. And that feels really good and really exciting because you get to choose that, right? Like if you want something, you get to create it. Just plan it, break it down, put some structure around it, get some help, put some processes in. We have that decision. We have that control to make that decision. So that brings us to the end of the third principle. So purpose, mindset, and strategy. And if you take anything away from what I've spoke about today, I want you to know with intention, clarity, and focus, you have the power to create the business that you really like, the one that you desire, the one that feels good to you. You have the choice, okay? You are the creators of your reality, and you are the creators of your business. Don't settle for a default business. Do the work to create a business that you love and that is aligned to you. Because you can, it's available, it's being intentional about choosing to do it. Okay. So I would love to know if you have any questions or any insights from the session, and I would be more than happy to answer them. Gary, do we have anything in the chat?
Well, Actually, I have a question. It was really interesting for me, and I hope for the audience as well. Talking about risks, and because having in mind that the last 2 years have been really stressful for all of us, especially small business owners. How we could still feel motivated to set and achieve our goals. This is something that I think would be, useful for all of us.
So just to clarify the question there, did you say how to stay motivated in setting goals?
Yes.
Yeah. Being really, truly aligned and anchored to what your goals are. Because if meeting those goals truly meet our desires, our dreams of like what we're trying to create, even when things feel challenging, and even when obviously things outside of our control happens in the world, if we totally align to what we created and what feels good, then the motivation stays with us. Because as you know, like if we commit to doing something, it's in the forefront, you're like really excited, you're really energized, it's like it's something new, you're like, yeah, and then all of a sudden when it gets hard, that motivation just drops. And we need to be channeling something lower down than the surface level instant gratification. And that is, what does this really mean? What's the purpose of really achieving this goal? What does it bring me? What does it bring my business? And anchor into that and the feeling that that brings. And that will help you keep going.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any tips for staying positive and in general?
Yeah, and I think there's nothing wrong with, what I don't want to promote is false positivity. And I think there's nothing wrong with in a really like, annoyed, frustrated, or whatever it is going on. There's nothing wrong with feeling that. But allowing ourselves to acknowledge it and label it and move on from it. That's what we need to learn to do. And identifying that you're feeling those emotions and saying them out loud and recognizing where they're coming from and why you feel like that is all part of the learning of us digesting it and absorbing it and moving on from it. Because if we just put the lid on it and go, we shouldn't be negative, we've got to just stay positive, we've got to just do it, all that's doing is pushing everything down, and it's going to just like pop one time. So whereas if you go, I'm feeling really frustrated because I wanted to bring another 3 clients in this month and it didn't, and I'm feeling really annoyed at myself and really disappointed. And if you think, right, okay, like unpack that, where's that coming from? And it's like, right, is it because are you frustrated and annoyed at yourself because you really didn't put the work in, you didn't plan? And this kind of thought, I invite people to get really curious and really open with themselves, because unless we are, we never move forward. While we are kidding ourselves that like nothing's wrong, it's okay, it's nothing, like it'll constantly keep coming back. Whereas if we deal with why we're frustrated, why we're angry, what's upsetting us, and trace the steps back, stay curious, and just awareness and acknowledging and labeling what's going on for ourselves, digesting it and moving on. Don't sit with it too long, accept it, move on.
Right. And what we can say to our freelancers, because we are, a freelance platform, and most of the people, they do not have a boss themselves. If you want to, celebrate your success, but there is no one that you can celebrate with, how you can still feel like satisfied?
I think
you're doing a great job.
Pat yourself on the back.
Yeah.
I think that is what you just said is so key for freelancers, right? And what that is surrounding yourself by people who get it. So get part of a community, surround yourself with people that get it, that understand. Whether that's an online group, whether it's something where on social media, but equally you can share your wins and build your community on social media. So I'm majority on LinkedIn, and if something goes really well, I love sharing it because I get regular people where we've built connection and we've got a little community and it feels really good. But I understand not everyone wants to do that, but there's nothing stopping you creating or going along to networking with like-minded people. But I would strongly recommend that you do surround yourself with people, because it can be really lonely. But find the right people for you, because there's so many groups out there, even within the freelance community. But where the people that you, like-minded people like you, hang out? Go and find them, and don't stop looking until you find your little crowd, because there's so much out there. Don't just turn up and feel like you've got to. Just surround yourself with people that get it. That's what I would say.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you very much. Let me see if there's anything else. I guess no. Would you like to add something else, or maybe we are going to leave a link that you just shared with us. Can you explain what it is?
Yeah, so I've shared a link to a 3-step video series, which is a free resource, and it's 3 steps to clarity. So if anyone that's listening resonates with anything that we've said and want to do something about it, this is a really simple 3-step tool that helps them identify what it is that they really like, where they're feeling stuck, and what action they can take. It's just to help them get unstuck and find a little bit of clarity amongst all the noise going on in their business right now. So yes, I believe that you sharing the link in the chat, I think.
Yeah, we'll share that, and also in the description, because this video will be in our YouTube channel. All right, then if that's everything, or if you want to share something more, please do so.
No, nothing else from me. I just really hope people have got some insights and takeaways from the session. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, really, for sharing your thoughts and your experience with us and good practices. And thanks for this like fruitful discussion, really. It was for me useful. Also, I hope it was for the audience. And if anyone wants to leave some feedback regarding this webinar, please feel free to do so at community@codecontrol.io. It will be much appreciated, really. And I think our webinar is coming to an end. Thanks for attending, and I hope you've enjoyed the time and you've learned something useful today. Once again, thank you, Kirsty, for being our speaker at the Freelance Academy. It's been a pleasure being with you, and I wish you all a pleasant afternoon, and I hope you all have really productive and inspiring projects ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you.